Hi again, this is Dr. Justex. In the previous video I stopped at the moral dilemma that I had as a little child in school. The notion of the all-knowing God, that knows exactly what everyone is gonna do and knows exactly how we're gonna do it, knows our sins, our life before it even began. So how can he tell us that he is testing us? For what? He know what's gonna happen. If he doesn't know that, he's not all-knowing. And if he knew that, he's not just, and life has no meaning. As a young Muslim kid at a school, actually the religion teachers, they did not give me the answer I asked them. So the same question I'm asking here. How can this be? How can this contradiction be? They didn't have an answer. Always wobbling around, try to say anything just to shut me up, and this is what's gonna happen, so you believe it or not, this is truth. I just kept it in the back of my head. I didn't think of it much. Well, not very much. Later in life, these questions started to arise as I was around 8 years old or something. And I actually vividly remember every conflict I had with a religion teacher. Another thing was the other than the moral dilemmas, the features that the Quran has for the Al-Jannah or the heaven. Well, it is an endless piece of land. We don't know where. Formerly, it is all written that it is above the seventh sky. It's a notion in the Quran that's always been made that the sky has 7 layers, and above all these 7 layers is the Arsh of Ar-Rahman, or the chair of the All-Divine, the chair of the Holy, the chair upon which God rests, and in the legs of this chair is the heaven. And you will live for eternity in prosperity, goodwill, and all that. And he had actually specific descriptions, like in Arabic I would say على الأرائك يتكئون, or on the sofas, soft ones, they lie. And the words for rivers of honey and rivers of wine. It seems ridiculous to me for a single reason. Why wouldn't be there an description of anything that was not in the time of the Prophet? I mean, every little thing that he described is there, and as he was in a desert, they haven't had much fruit, so he also always mentioned fruit in heaven. Well, it makes sense because they didn't have any. It would be fine. It would be very nice for them to live in an area with a lot of fruits. All they have is dates, some palm trees, some goats, and water from a well. That's all their life. Even the Prophet was a shepherd, so they didn't know actually much fruits. If God is an all-knowing being, how can it be that he didn't know anything about other fruits and goods that was not in the Saudi Arabia at that time? Well, in a theistic point of view, it doesn't make sense. But if you look at it from an objective point of view, well, it does make sense because the Quran is actually written by him, and he doesn't know much about other parts of the world. He didn't know the tropical fruits. He didn't know about the goods that people will have in future. Other things that kept me in the religion until I was about 18 or something. Well, I said so. He did know, but he cannot mention these things to people living 1,400 years ago. How else would they be religious? They would tell you you're crazy. We don't know what you're talking about. You're just a crazy man. Actually, he is. As a neurosurgeon, as a doctor, actually, I know what kind of epileptic fits would cause imagination in the temporal lobe. Actually, temporal lobe epilepsy, temporal lobe fits would give you false, vivid imagination. Actually, in a realistic way too, and it so often makes sense. So when Muslims talk about Isra and Mi'raj, or when the Prophet went to from Mecca to what's now Israel to Al-Aqsa Mosque, then from Al-Aqsa Mosque to the seventh heaven, and seeing heaven with his own eyes in just one night, by the way. So it got to be an epileptic patient. He's having delusion. And the reason why I think he actually believed everything he said, because he went into fights and he got injured several times. That would be not just someone who is talking nonsense to have a status or to have a higher status among people and to get married to women. Women. Damn. He get married about 9 times parallel to each other, not nine consecutive times. So now I was like about 12 years old, and every contradictions had a solution, in my opinion. It's not so much a contradiction. Then there was what I call a scientific boom in my life. I was good at science, but I was just a regular boy, want to play or so, but actually not very social, because to be honest, they all are knuckleheads, stupid kids. I just didn't want to hang around them. So I was reading small stuff, not science in a real way, but when I was about 13 years old or something, I started to read science from A to Z. I started to read mathematics, chemistry, then organic chemistry, physics, and biology. Now, when I started reading biology, I always try to read for the foreign English or American references, because Arabic references are actually full of shit. They are twisting facts so that people would still believe. They are trying to disprove evolution at every Arabic written book in biology. I was young, but I knew it was not written in a good style, so I went to the library. That time, and there wasn't internet as it is today. You couldn't just download a book or something. You have to go to the library. So I went to the university's library when I was in pre-high school. I started reading and reading. Then I stumbled upon evolution. It made sense. It actually made sense. I got it. You know that moment, the moment? You know it. You just got it. You can understand exactly how it works. Then, in life later, I started more to learn more about evolution and how body works, how human body works. I completely, well, not completely, but almost completely lost faith when I started to deeply study religion. When I started to deeply study religion, boom, it's gone. Well, as as I always say, if you want to be an atheist, just read your holy book. Read it. Read it from cover to cover. After some couple of chapters, it's completely ridiculous. You will know instantly it's bullshit. So I started reading Quran. I wanted to know, why is there so much fuss? Why are these scientists trying to prove to us there is a conspiracy on Muslims by the work of scientists? It seemed to me it's irrational. How would scientists all over the world actually would encourage evolution just because of us? Arab nations are not that powerful, are not that rich. Maybe we just have oil, but nothing else actually. So uh, uh, I, it's and also evolution would tear apart Christianity and Judaism. So how would they do that because of Islam? Huh? Complete complete shit load of crap just to make people ignorant. But you know what? I'm not gonna back down for that. So I read it. I read it more once and much more books then. I really became complete atheist in medical school. In medical school, it just was 100% sure it's all nonsense. I was sure, completely sure. For an example, I will give an example of if atheism, if if evolution is true, there will be no Adam and no Eve for a very simple reason. We have variabilities as humans. The humans have races like African race or Asian race or the Europeans, Scandinavians, and the red Hindus, at the Native Americans. Well, if we are all from two parents, how did that came about? It wouldn't be. When I read about cheetahs and how they have an evolutionary bottleneck, they are now very similar because there was like 7 or 8 survived and mated. Every single cheetah can have a transplanted organ from another cheetah. The actual receptors working on that in the immune system is the HLA receptors and the major histocompatibility complex receptor 1. I know that. I studied that. So if humans came about to Earth after animals, how can there be variation and in the same time we came from two parents? That is just unbelievable. And it goes much further than this. If you think about it, well, we all have mitochondria. We all have genes. The genetic code, which is a codon, like a codon of 3 letters that is translated by the transfer RNA to an amino acid in the protein, it's universal. It's the same code from Escherichia coli in your bowel to you. The same code in fish, in birds, reptiles, amphibians, mammals, everything. So if there is no connection, why is the code universal? It can be anything. It's just a code. Anything can code for anything. But why does it have to be the same if not from a single ancestor? Another things I'm gonna be discussing in my next video. So keep in touch. Goodbye for now.